For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Despite all the talk of economic growth for St. Lucia, well, one individual is dissatisfied and he is claiming that that growth is not being filtered down to the southern part of St. Lucia. A government minister says, I am doing a good job, as we welcome you to another edition of the world's most monitored talk show, and that's NewsSpin on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. You'll be part of the conversation in just a bit. You'll be able to call at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. And Amanda will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. We hope you're having yourself a fantastic Tuesday afternoon, and we hope by the time we conclude the broadcast, you'll be entertained, you will be also educated, you'll be made aware of certain things that are happening in St. Lucia as we have, hopefully, a respectful and healthy conversation. So we begin with the MP for VA4 South, Dr. Kenny Anthony. He has been an elected member of Parliament since 1997, served 3 terms as Prime Minister of St. Lucia. And what does VA4 South have to show for the investment that they have made in Dr. Kenny Anthony? Because it's not a case of you doing so much for the people by representing them in Parliament and speaking on their behalf from 1997 up until now. It's not only that, not only talk, it's action. How have you impacted in a positive way the lives of the majority of the people of your constituents? Parliamentary representative. That's what you're there to do, to represent their interests in many facets. in terms of the economic well-being that translates to employment opportunities, creating the environment for that part of the island to thrive in terms of business activity, commercial activity in the town of Vieux-Fort, in terms of development of the Vieux-Fort port. And we continue to hear, and unfortunately, Dr. Kenny Anthony has not addressed that particular issue. Whether, as is being claimed, that GPH, a condition that it's set for this whole agreement with the government of St. Lucia for the leasing of our ports, Castries Port, Soufrière Port, is that the Vieux-Fort port must not be developed. It must be left undeveloped. And if that is true, obviously, that is an indictment on Dr. Kenny Anthony in terms of his ability, if not literally, figuratively, fight for the people of Vieux-Fort South. And Vieux-Fort, based on what we've been discussing for years on this broadcast, clearly has the potential, the landmass, as an international airport. And you're saying to me that somehow you have just basically allowed that community to exist on its own without giving it the proper leadership. And Dr. Kenny Anthony at some point in time would have to address the stewardship, the level of stewardship, and what he has to show and what benefits Vieux-Fort would have achieved over the close to 30 decades that he has represented that constituency.
On all accounts,
And so there was a Southern Business Mixer took place this week that's in the south of the island. And Dr. Kenny Anthony was one of the people who addressed that particular activity. And he prefaced the main part of his contribution by heaping a lot of praise on the Philip J. Pierre government and pointing the audience to the level of economic growth St. Lucia has recorded, according to him, over the last 3 years. And he says, the unfortunate thing is, the effects, they have manifested themselves primarily in the north of the island. And that's proof, that's evidence of what people have been saying on this broadcast for years, that the South has been neglected. No effort has been made to develop that part of St. Lucia, as if this is a totally different region of the island. It is separate geographically and otherwise. So all the emphasis, according to Dr. Kenny Anthony, is being placed on the northern part of the island. When you have a small island, 238 square miles, there are some areas that will be earmarked for economic activity, other areas for agriculture. I mean, the use of the land would vary because of the topography and so on. But you need to develop your island. You cannot take the easy way out because the infrastructure, the amenities are in the north of the island to just focus primarily on the north. And that's what many people have been saying on this program, NewsSpin. Let's listen to the MP for Vieux-Fort South and former St. Lucia Prime Minister, Dr. Kenny Anthony.
on all accounts, the benefits of this economy is really being felt primarily in the north of the island. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. It's understandable because the north is where the heart of the tourism product is. Most of your hotels are in the north. And then a lot of the construction activity that is helping to drive the economy at this time, a lot of it is taking place mainly in the northern zone of the island. And then the north is where the bulk of our services economy really is. Tourism apart, the other services that we offer to the country at large. There are times I actually believe we have a parallel economy in this country, an economy in the north and an economy in the south. And unquestionably, the south is going through very challenging times. In my several conversations with small businesses throughout my own constituency here in Beaufort South, they often say to me that they are seeing lean, challenging times. And it seems strange that on the one hand, we have these extraordinary statistics for the economy, but yet in the South, we seem to have a rather subdued economy. The economic performance seems at best a little weak and perhaps not as sustained as happened in the past. But the explanations are not very difficult to find. For one thing, economies take time to percolate. But people would inevitably become impatient with percolation. Percolation takes time. And you don't want to survive purely on a percolating economy. Part of the issue has really been the lack of investment for the South at this time. And in a situation where we are not able to attract foreign investment as well as we should, then almost inevitably it means that public sector investment has to drive the South. That has to be the key for the South. And in all the phases we have gone through in the South, it has always been public sector investment that drives the South. And so it is an issue that we now have to tackle to supplement the efforts, because it is only by that kind of investment that the income that is so necessary for expenditure by households and others can really rise in the short term.
MP for Beaufort South and former St. Lucia Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony. Economies take time to percolate. That word means of a liquid or gas filtered gradually through a porous surface or substance. Filter, drain, drip, ooze, seep, trickle, dribble, strain, leak of coffee be prepared in a percolator, etc., etc. So what is happening? The economic activity is taking place in the north. It's taking a long time to percolate so that it can reach the shores of Beaufort. But sir, you have been Prime Minister. You were Prime Minister from 1997, 2001, general election of 2001 to 2006. But sir, you came back in 2011 to 2016. You've been the MP from 1997 up until 2021. What's wrong with that percolation of yours? It's not working. So the South has been neglected. And may I dare say, the St. Lucia Labour Party has taken pleasure in ignoring the South and focusing on other constituencies, other parts of St. Lucia. Because of what? It can take the people of the South for granted. Chair Labour, automatically, those people, as they have done historically over several years now, in the case of Beaufort North, Labrie, they will vote for a St. Lucia Labour Party candidate. So why take your resources and focus on those constituencies when winning that seat or those seats, that is inevitable, imminent, very likely to happen. So why not take those people for granted? And that is what is happening. That's what has happened. And that is what is expected to continue. A government minister says he is doing a good job. I think nobody says that. Nobody in their right mind would say that. Police commissioner says they're doing a good job. A teacher says I'm doing a good job. You allow, the people to assess you and then to come to that conclusion. And considering the poor state of the nation's infrastructure minister says he is doing a good job. He has been infrastructure minister during the reign of the previous administration and now during the reign of the St. Lucia Labour Party. Now, the evidence of that good job is reflected in the condition of our roads. Let's listen to Minister Stevenson King, who says he is doing a good job.
I don't worry about persons who want to criticize my work or to attempt to denounce what I'm doing and to attempt to question whether I am performing as I should. I know I am doing a good job. And I'm not saying this, I'm not the one saying that. That's what people say to me. I don't worry about persons who want to criticize my work or to attempt to denounce what I'm doing and to attempt to question whether I am performing as I should. I know I am doing a good job. And I'm not saying this, I'm not the one saying that. That's what people say to me.
Yes. You just heard there from the infrastructure minister, Mr. Stevenson King. He says he's doing a good job. Now, let me try to establish contact with somebody who is definitely doing a good job. That person is on the line right now. Let me say hello and good afternoon to you. Hello. Okay, we'll have to try again to see what's happening there. Well, obviously from my end, I'm not doing a good job at all. But we'll try to put the person on the air in just a moment. So just please bear with me, a little bit of suspense. We'll speak with that individual in just a moment. In the meantime, maybe what we can do is to try to go through some of the comments in the chat room and say good afternoon to you, Amanda.
Good afternoon, Timothy. Good afternoon, Newspinners. In the chat room, someone says, "Oh Lord, put a hand. Oh Lord, put a hand. This is sad. Things in St. Lucia are getting really bad. Even Kenny Anthony already lost his voice." Another comment: representation in Grozile is lacking fairness. One set eating everything and they still behaving hungry. They're crying more than those who are being victimized. Someone says, makes sense. GPH needs no competition. SLP has sacrificed Viewfort again. Another comment: team, don't cry for the Viewfort people. They're happy in their mess. They love their rep and their rep knows that. Someone says, oh boy, team, you're stepping on a very big toe there, and that's what I like about you, because you have no fear or favor when discussing matters affecting St. Lucia and the St. Lucians. Well, I remember Dr. Kenny Anthony called you a media terrorist at one of his political meetings on the Castries Market steps, and all his supporters were ready to attack you right there. Let's see after or during this talk show what name Dr. Kenny Anthony and his supporters will have for you, because they just can't handle the truth.
All right, let's see if this person on the line. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, ma'am. How are you?
Oh, I wish I could say feeling great, but I can't really say so, given the atmosphere existing today in the world and in St. Lucia. It might sound a bit negative, but there's a lot of depression because of outer forces impacting on our health and our mental health especially.
But amidst that, let me say that and stress that you're doing a good job as far as advocacy when it comes to human rights in St. Lucia, maintaining, trying to protect the human rights of the citizens of this country. And that is Miss Mary Francis, Director of the National Center for Legal Aid and Human Rights Incorporated. Today is International Human Rights Day. What's the message from you today, ma'am?
Yes, I used to think I was doing a good job, but I don't think it has been an adequate in terms of advocacy and getting help for people, because I have not been supported by the state, and which I think I want to call upon the state today that NGOs are doing a better job than government in ensuring the protection of human rights in St. Lucia. And NGOs should be supported with finances to provide and to make up for the shortfall in government's policies and government's failure to adequately provide for the human rights of St. Lucians. Well, yes, today is International Human Rights Day, and the United Nations, the theme is Our Rights, Our Future, Right Now. Emphasis right now. In other words, if we protect now, we will ensure a better future. And I'm saying so against the background of what you just played there about Dr. Kenny Anthony. I think in terms of human rights in St. Lucia, our social rights especially, the United Nations have moved away a bit from the earlier human rights decades when they placed lots of emphasis on fundamental human rights like the right to life and the death penalty. But they have moved on to the social and economic rights. That is why they have developed the Sustainable Development Goals. And human rights is just about people, about their needs, about who we are as people and how we ought to live as human beings. It's about the legal commitments also that the states have made to serve their people. It's not about abstract ideas. It's all about the power to impact the lives of people and to change their lives to bring about a peaceful society. Because when your rights are not being taken care of, not provided for, it leads to injustice. Injustice breeds violence. And that is where we are at in St. Lucia today. In lots of areas, the state institutions are malfunctioning. People do not know where to turn for a remedy. And the government seems to be going along with a policy of disrupting projects of one administration, building more costs into the society, then those monies can be applied to housing rights, health rights, the conditions at the OKEU hospital, the St. Jude. All those matters have an impact on our social and economic rights, and the emphasis is there. And government should be partnering with civil society, where the commitment of persons operating the NGOs, there is a commitment that they have to their work, which the public servants do not have. It's more like a job for the public servants. And not only that, you have the question of transferring public servants when a new administration comes in. It means whatever policies that have been undertaken, there's discontinuity, there are gaps, and the people are suffering. So our governance, to me, the politicians have to take a look at themselves and say, are they being fair to St. Lucians? Are they doing their best to ensure the policies that will have an effect on the people's lives are really being enacted? What about the legislation? It is time we have a constitution which speaks about fundamental rights and so forth, economic rights and so on, and civil rights. But what about the conventions that St. Lucia has signed and failed to ratify? One of the main ones is the International Covenant for Civil, for Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. They have not ratified that. And they know why they're not ratified. Because when you ratify, then you have a responsibility to ensure you enact legislation to bring about those rights in terms of housing, health, and all those things. And they have not ratified because they know probably they're falling short and they're not actually concentrating on those rights sufficiently. What is the accountability? You have St. Lucia supposed to be filing a report like all states of the United Nations, supposed to be what they call the Universal Periodic Review. Every 2 or 3 years, they go to Geneva before the United Human Rights Council to give a report as to what advancements they have made in terms of ensuring the promotion of human rights in St. Lucia. We do not know. People can go online to probably see those reports. But how can they report when they are not actually monitoring what the various government departments are doing? How can they? How can the civil society NGOs also contribute towards that report and let the United Nations know whether we are actually serious or whether defaulting is when, the departments are not operating and so on. So there's a big gap in St. Lucia. You have a lot of emphasis on projects like the port and hotels and all those things, but those things are not actually touching the lives of the little man who has to live in deprived conditions. So I think we have to stand up and we have to demand our rights right now or else the future will be very bleak. Our rights right now, we have to stand up, educate ourselves, because if we apply human rights principles and so on, we can really transform our society to a more peaceful society where people know that at least their social living is okay, and they are satisfied. You have the question of mental health is, on the siege. Now you heard the turning point close. In other words, I think we have lots of problems right now. A lot of dysfunctioning institutions, and the politicians are not actually taking a close look and ask themselves conscientiously, are they doing the best in terms of our rights as people to live in dignity and integrity? That's what human rights is all about, living in a dignified life as a human being. And we are far from that in St. Lucia.
But ma'am, the politicians...
Lots of workshops are taking place, lots of training, but you're transferring civil servants all the time to different departments. Why should that be when the public service is supposed to be neutral? Governments come, government go, the public service remains neutral. So the government is the problem. In St. Lucia and governments all over the world, they're the problems, and they're the ones preventing people from living a life of dignity and equality.
But what about politicians when they're in office who complain and will come up with all kind of excuses to justify it? For example, the high cost of living, saying that it's beyond their control. In the area of healthcare, they also claim that those problems are monumental and they have been with us for a very long time, and they are working assiduously to address those issues, but they continue to affect the people and denying them the right to a quality of health care that certainly would improve their lives while they are in existence.
Well, the people have to bear some of the blame for this type of game that the politicians are playing. I'll call it a game, because in opposition they say one thing, then they come in something else. I only hope the present opposition are taking serious stock of themselves, that if they get back there, they will not be repeating some of the mistakes that they made, and look and see where they fell short and so on. It's time we St. Lucians forget about the parties and politics and look at the governance as a whole of the country, what is required and so on, and to make demands on the politicians, irrespective of whether it's Labour or United Workers' Party, what is good for us as a people. And that is the problem in this country. People get into power for their own self-aggrandizement. That's what is going on there. When you watch the politicians on the media, you see how they dress, and people are walking the streets. I walk the streets every day in a terrible condition. Their clothes, some of them don't look like they can have a bath and so on. And then you watch our leaders on the media and see how they are dressed, and the public servants. Oh my God, it is shameful to me. Presently in St. Lucia, 2024, we should have been more forward in terms of providing for people's needs, their human rights, health, education, housing, and so on. Bring about policies, legislation. When was the last time the Rent Restriction Act was updated to ensure that people who were living in certain areas renting for certain amount are not evicted onto the streets illegally just like that? These are the things, people, human beings, integrity, dignity as a human being. We should not be subject to this type of thing. And they are sleeping on those things and talking about, yes, entrepreneurship and all those things. Yes, that's important. But what about those other important social needs of the people? So if the people are unhappy, if the young people are unhappy, what will happen? If there's no justice, there is no peace. Absolutely. That's how it goes. So I'm calling on the government to do better than that. The sustainable development goals that they have to actually see that they meet by 2030. These are human rights clothed as the sustainable development goals, as they call them. What about the interrelated committee that was set up to actually monitor St. Lucia's compliance with human rights treaties? What about that? It was set up under the last administration. I hear there is nothing happening. There's no movement since the new government came in. You have there is not enough mechanism for redress when those rights are violated. So therefore, I'm calling again for a national human rights committee sponsored, set up by government and funded by government to monitor the public servants and their work, monitor the institutions, monitor St. Lucia's compliance with the commitments they have made to the United Nations. You don't have this unless you have that monitoring committee to overlook and to see what is happening. People will do what they want. The civil servants will do what they want, and they'll have workshop upon workshop, money being spent, and we're still at the same halting position. That cannot be right. That's not proper governance at all. We got to do better than that as a people. We have to do better than that. So by standing up right now, joining human rights organizations, there are quite a few. You have Miss Catherine Sillies and I forgot the name of right now of her NGO. You have Rights and Lucia for Young People. You have the Council for Persons with Disabilities. Sometimes they need volunteers. You even have the Red Cross. People must stand up and come together and mobilize in organizations and make demands on government for a better St. Lucia. The time has come. We cannot sit back anymore and listen to them telling us lies, night after night. And the public servants are also now enabling them to get away with the truth, because the public servants now are scared. Some of them coming, and you can see when they speak with no conviction. They speak what they are told they must say to give the government a good look. I am not happy with the state of things in this country, and I think I have contributed in the past. I was a member of the Labour Party. I served it as the General Secretary. I served in the Senate, and that is what is happening today. We need better than that, and I'm calling on them, the people, to stand up for their rights right now for a better future, and I'm calling on the government to set up this National Human Rights Commission to monitor the public servants. The courts are not working. They're choked with cases. The Bordelais, the police complaints unit. When last we got a report, so many people come to me, they make complaints. When are those complaints being attended to? Commissioners come, commissioners go. The complaints, the reports are on their desk, and they're receiving high salaries. They're receiving high salaries in this country, a small country like ours. One set of people are able to live, and the majority of the people cannot live with 2.5% and all those things. No. We need to step back and see where we are going, and we the people must stand up and see how we can change those things. We cannot allow income, one go, income, another one come, and it's the same thing, and they have little things, little trinkets all the time in the news about this project and that project. There must be a plan of where we want to go as a nation, who we are as a people.
What are your expectations, ma'am, for the new year?
My expectations is just what I just said. We have to stand up, get together in NGOs, and the government should partner with the NGOs, because the NGOs are doing a better job than some of the government ministries. As I said, you have a minister for persons with disabilities, but the Ministry of Equity could, to me, that's where it fell. Why you have to have a separate minister in the Prime Minister's office for this? Yes, we have to ensure inclusion for those people, because they are human beings and entitled to human rights also. But then why have this duplication? Why that? You have the Minister of National Security and so on. What is he doing? I don't understand. And they talk about the crime. I mean to say, yes, people should not be taking lives of each other like that. There should be more a sense of security for us citizens, that when we go about our daily chores in town or going out in the night, that we don't go apprehensive and being fearful. There is fear now. I am living in fear in this country right now because of what I see happening. Lots of people also. Fear causes depression. Fear prevents us from living a proper, healthy life and so on. And it affects the health, because, as I said, health is not the absence of sickness or disability. Health means that your total well-being, physical, mental, social, total well-being. We don't have that in this country presently. So the government got to wake up and do what is necessary for we the people in St. Lucia to ensure we can live a decent life as human beings, free from fear, free from want. That is what we have to do next year. Put on the pressure, come together and stand up.
Okay, ma'am, thank you so much for sharing your point of view with us on this International Day of Human Rights. Miss Mary Francis of the National Center for Legal Aid and Human Rights Incorporated. We wish you all the best.
For the people, an outlet so that they exercise their freedom of speech every day. Thank you for giving them that outlet.
You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much. You just heard there once again from human rights activist, attorney, and also the director of the National Center for Legal Aid and Human Rights, Miss Mary Francis. More in just a moment. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, NewsSpin.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbouté at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilex Customer Service Office in Castries is now opened for business, but we've moved. We're now located on Daisy Avenue in Sanssouci on the ground floor of the new Carilac building. We're open weekdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Check out our online options first. But if you do need to come in to see us, we'll be pleased to serve you with new connections, bill queries, payments, and other service requests. Lucilex Sanssouci office, ground floor of the Carilac building. New location, same great service.
Ho, ho, ho! KFC is bringing the magic with 12 days of Christmas. Starting November 18th, anytime you buy a festive feast at KFC, you can enter to win amazing prizes. Just write your name and number on your receipt and drop it in the entry box. From December 9th to 20th, we're giving away a NutriBullet, Apple Watch, iPhone 15, and more. And on December 20th, the grand prize, an all-expense-paid trip to Jamaica with tickets to see Vibes Cartel at the Freedom Street concert. Don't miss the holiday kickoff on November 22nd at Rodney Bay KFC from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. KFC, finger-licking good.
Okay, Max, if I'm going to steal Christmas this year, I'll need a smart TV to keep an eye on the who's, a smartphone to call for backup, cash, and a stove to bake this ham. Seriously, I can get all this for free if I sign up for Flow.
We're Christmasing with thousands of gifts even the Grinch would love. Sign up for a postpaid mobile bundle or high-speed broadband and win big every week. Visit discoverflow.co now.
It is well known by all solution professional tradesmen and even homeowners that European-made tools are the best. Well, guess what? Europa Hardware is having a massive promotion on the Metabo brand of power tools. From impact drills to angle grinders, jigsaws to rotary hammers, sanders and hot air guns. All at unbeatable, jaw-dropping prices. Don't let your tools let you down. Come to Europa and stay standing with a proud in-the-hand tool from Metabo. Call us at 452-0763 or visit us in Massat Grosile. Europa, we service what we sell.
Are you so caught up with your busy schedule that you forget about your health? Let La Clinique du Corps take care of it so you can continue living a healthy life. There's no need to travel anymore to get the best quality full-body MRI scans with crystal clear head-to-toe images. Our GE-certified MRI machine detects any illness in your body with unmatched precision. For even better care, La Clinique du Corps offers the most advanced 3D and 4D ultrasound technology, ensuring precise diagnostics for accurate results. We also provide general health checkups for all ages, diagnostic testing including blood work, preventative care and chronic disease management, consultations with specialists in cardiology, neurosurgery, neurology, oncology, and more. Plus, enjoy the convenience of telemedicine consultations for your busy schedule. Why wait? Discover the invisible. Call La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center in Rodney Bay or Castries at 451-6559 to schedule your appointment today. Your health deserves the best because time is life.
Get ready for MNC, Home Depot, and Sunbelt's wonderful weekends on December 6th, 7th, and 8th. And again on December 12th, 14th, and 15th. We're bringing you 20% off store-wide. plus amazing doorbuster deals. Need tools, paint, or housewares for the holidays? We've got it all at amazing prices. But that's not all. Save up to 50% off on our doorbuster deals. These prices won't last long, so get in early for the best savings. Don't miss out. Mark your calendar for wonderful weekends at MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt in December and save 20% off store-wide this holiday season. Terms and conditions may apply. See in-store for more details.
At Caribbean Pastouche Limited, we offer high-quality products from Martinique, and our ready mix is made with casting sand, not regular pumice. Compared to regular pumice, casting sand saves you in your cement use. At Caribbean Pastouche Limited, our materials come from porcelain stones, which is used as an additive in creating cement. Caribbean Pastouche Limited is located in Bexon, behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastouche Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world. We continue to take your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And in just a moment, an update from Amanda regarding comments in the chat room. Somebody says there via WhatsApp, he did exactly what a percolator/politician does. He filtered all his gas through that porous surface he calls a mouth. God is belly fat, just like King, called that time served and passed the baton to the next clueless sucker in line. Just my 2 cents. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. And it reads, Tim, the government gave the traffic department so many motorcycles, but I don't see them on the road. Driving on evenings, I see so many red and blue headlights. Isn't that against the law? And let's see there. If we have another WhatsApp message, just bear with me while we try to take care of this there. Somebody said there. Okay. What's happening in the chat room, Amanda?
Tim, a few comments from earlier. Someone says Kenny should not blame anyone for the shortcomings in the South. He also contributed to it. Another comment, I am lost with the IMF reports during the term of King. The IMF reports showed a masterclass of leadership, yet the good was not felt among the populace. Same as now, screw IMF reports. Another comment, KDA don't give a rat's tail about anything, now it's obvious. Someone says, Tim, why are you highlighting this momental failure of a district rep? He has not addressed the GPH issue, which is if the SLP remains in office, is the death knell of the people of my birthplace. Someone says, Stevenson King, you can be doing a good job at not doing anything. Another comment, Mr. King, the people who are telling you that you are doing a good job are fooling you to the max. They are not your friends. Check on them. Another comment, yes, King, the liar you write. Yes, King, you are doing a good job by being with the woman at court. Oh, no. And in recent comments, someone says, St. Lucia needs to recognize Miss Francis for her continuous work with keeping everyone accountable regardless of who is in power. Another comment, Team ask Catherine Seeley to call and tell St. Lucians what she is doing to help women in society. Someone says the Labour Party could have supported the National Trust but can't support Mary Francis. You see how biased the SLP is in making decisions to help. Another comment, SLP governments and supporters are a set of wicked and selfish people. Someone says, don't be surprised the folks will vote this failed administration again. Another contribution, someone says, so much was happening under the previous governments that would have bettered the lives of the ordinary folks, and these initiatives were stopped. Sadly, we do not give the previous administration its due credit, but now we are paying dearly for our dishonesty. In the chat room, someone says, the people are happy, Miss Francis. They are getting step for Christmas. And someone says, I beg to differ, Miss Francis, because the NGOs are still silent as well. And that's it for now.
Thank you so much, Amanda, for that update. We'll have some more coming up during the course of our program. A WhatsApp message, somebody says, from time VA4 people get a little step, they happy like a birthday bunch of fools. I'm just reading the WhatsApp messages. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message to go through. Okay, somebody says via WhatsApp, we, the officers, work for the Ancillary Carnival Committee since July, and up to now we can't get paid. That's not the first time. All they are saying, the district rep has the final say. We need to get paid. Another person says, okay, that's the comment that I've just read. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Tim, can you imagine the cabinet of ministers sitting around a table to discuss the country's business? In that cabinet, you have a man that said he's patriotic, a leader who keeps saying putting the people first, and who Jah bless no man curse, and yet still problems over problems. So what is the way forward? Because that is a dream team of minds, but still this country is bleeding. When iniquity abounds, the love of many dies, because these men are hurting the system of doing things right, bro. I don't have any faith in democratic governments anymore because of those men. For sure, I had a lot of trust and faith in my rep, Stevenson King, and believes, Tim, does Kenny Anthony suffer from amnesia or dementia? Is he forgetting that he's been district rep for 27 years and 15 years as prime minister? 27 years to percolate? Seriously? Really? Another WhatsApp message to go through. Please bear with me. Somebody says there, congratulations to you, Kimani and Amanda and the production crew working behind the scenes on a great show this year. Wishing you all a restful and joyful Christmas season. Remember, self-care is important. Being on air almost every day, discussing difficult issues plaguing the country, and sometimes dealing with difficult callers is no easy task. The negativity can sometimes have unintentional impacts. So I really want to big up the NewsSpin team and say we appreciate all you do. 2025 will be bigger and better. Thank you so much on behalf of Tim and the team. Let's see there. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We have a call in line. Good afternoon. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
3 times Journalist of the Year. Mr. Timothy Poleon, good afternoon. Amanda.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, caller.
The Queen of Journalism in the Caribbean, Miss Lisa Joseph. Merry Christmas to you, madam. To me, you're a journalist of the century. You are a journalist of the century. Our godfather, Sir Michael Shasta. Merry Christmas to you, sir. David Shakes Christopher. Merry Christmas to you, sir. You're doing a job of excellence. Tim, I was checking out something here the other day on the member of the Minister of Sports from Gosling Casbeh. In 3.5 years, this man is a multimillionaire.
Don't go there, caller, because you can't prove anything to me regarding the... No, hold on. Please, caller, hold on. You cannot prove or substantiate anything to me regarding the gentleman's wealth. Let's leave that for the Integrity Commission. And you also can use some other platform to spew whatever concerns that you have regarding the individual's wealth. I cannot... hold on. I cannot entertain the discussion along those lines, sir. I cannot. That is hearsay. Okay. There's no evidence. I'm not accepting. I'm not. No, sir.
Stuff I see.
I am not. No.
Those are stuff I see in the media, Tim.
No. You see it on social media. Not everything you see on social media. You see the media, but there's social media, and that environment is being used to peddle a lot of untruth against people, things that cannot be substantiated. So let's be very careful.
Untruth also, Tim.
Right.
Come on. Untruth and truth also. Both, okay? Let me continue. The $4 to $6 billion will be. I heard nothing about it. And my people are suffering. My people are eating stones. Tim, there was a regime in the Caribbean, in Bahamas to be exact, led by the late Sir Lyndon Pinling, where all the ministers, the only government in the world where all the ministers were millionaires. multimillionaires. Don't tell me that. Tell me I'm talking nonsense again. I am saying to you, sir, that history is about to repeat itself in St. Lucia. I personally think every member of the Mongoose gang are multimillionaires. Have a nice day.
All right, thank you so much. But that's what you think, sir, and you have no manner of proving that. Let's just stay away from the hearsay, because that's the easiest thing that people can do, and both sides do it to each other. But I don't want to be the facilitator of that kind of bad habit. 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages at 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. And of course, standing by is Amanda. She'll be going through some of your comments in the chat room in just a moment. But we have a call. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
You know, Tim, it's almost amusing the way we live in this country, you know. And according to the Bible, Ecclesiastes, there's nothing new under the sun. Well, Mr. Bermuda was trying to make a point to you there, and you were absolutely correct in checking him out. Better be safe than sorry. Absolutely correct. But what a shame that we can't be sure about the economic status of our various ministers before and after in a place as small as this. And
when there's the mechanism to prove that, for example,
well, that's
the
the
Integrity
whole point.
Commission.
Everything that comes up on this show points to the fact that we're already in the bush. And speaking of already in the bush, last week on your show on Newsmaker Live, I made two statements. I remarked on two things that I would like to revisit. I have been inundated since the show, Tim, with people from Library calling to tell me about the names I mentioned who are no longer with us, sadly. People I grew up with in Library, and some of whom were such an inspiration to me. Some of them were involved in my bodybuilding career in the early days, etc. But I also pointed out the specialness of Library. Remember we talked about that?
I remember, yes.
And a number of people said to me, Rick, it's obvious you have not been to Library anytime recent. And I asked why. I said Library is one of the most neglected, or so it looks by our parents, one of the most neglected areas of St. Lucia. Now, have you been down there?
No, it's a while. I've not been there.
So I hope somebody down there might call and straighten that out. Because if that is so, it's very, very sad, because Library people are almost self-sufficient with their union, the work that Louise was doing there, and so on. And to hear that it is one of the more neglected areas and ghetto-looking areas saddens me. But it sits in with what Kenny Anthony said, that the South is neglected, right?
Yes.
But, you know, even there, Tim, I also said on the show, that's my second point, that Kenny Anthony continues to befuddle me. I have an ambivalent relationship in my mind with Kenny Anthony. One minute I love him, one minute I think what a total waste, and I still think he has a lot to say to St. Lucia before he quits one way or another. I mean, listening to that little clip you played there, it sounds like a guy who's very interested, doesn't it? A guy who is fighting for the cause of the South, doesn't it?
And a guy who has not been Prime Minister of St. Lucia for 3 terms
that
and MP
doesn't go there.
for 27
years. It sounds
years.
like a guy on his knees pleading with the authorities not to neglect the South, and especially if you vote. Now, if you don't know any better, or if you're a first-timer or somebody just hearing it now, you won't remember that Kenny Anthony has been the representative of Viewport since 1997. You might not remember also.
So hold on there, Rick. Imagine somebody who is 27 years old now. All right? This year he's 27. That means from the time he was born, Dr. Kenny Anthony has been the MP for V4 South. Yeah, that's all he knows.
He knows nobody else. Okay? Now, I'm going to reverse that for some thought in a minute, you know. But listening to Kenny Anthony, he's talking about he's created a new phrase now. A percolating economy. What the hell does a percolating economy mean? But when somebody like Kenny Anthony uses a phrase like that, which I've never heard of before, all you can think of is how original. What a bright guy. That's what you're likely to believe because Kenny Anthony is, in fact, on paper, a very bright man. So you're automatically going to start questioning your lack of knowledge by asking yourself, what is a percolating economy? Maybe I should look it up. But I'm sure we've heard of trickle-down economics. Huh?
Yes, we have.
That was the Reagan thing.
Yeah.
Trickle-down economics, I'm going to read a definition of it for you. Trickle-down economics is a pejorative term for government economic policies deemed to disproportionately favor the upper tier of the economic spectrum under the belief that this will eventually benefit the economy as a whole. You with me? In other words, give the rich all the bricks in the world, take care of the well-off, the better-off people, and the poorest of the poor will automatically benefit from whatever trickles down. That failed, of course. That's a miserable failure. But you wonder what Kenny Anthony could possibly mean by percolating economy. Because there ain't no percolating economy up north either, you know, Tim. The fact that roads are being built at public expense, the fact that there is a little activity here and there, mostly at public expense, and you did hear him say also that the help, that the assistance, that what the South needs again is public health, you know. Public health,
public sector investment.
Public sector investment, and sounds good. Public sector investment is what went on in St. Jude, is it not?
Yes.
$400 million unaccounted for, not to mention other things. I don't usually go into that. But those kind of phrases make you think, wow, you know, and they mean absolutely nothing. In fact, what they are meant to do is pretend that the person talking is so interested in the welfare of the place he's talking about, when in fact, demonstrably, he is not. In fact, you may well think he's been an impediment. Because if 25 years ago, 25 years you said it was?
27
years ago, he had put down things in place when he was in absolute control of the economy, when you had bananas and you had all those things going on. What did he put down? Sustaining, and that's the operative word, sustaining, because these guys spend public funds on CIP money, and it's come, easy go. What is there sustaining in Beaufort? Zero. But Tim, on the other hand, let us not fool ourselves. I know you and I always disagree on that one. Mary Frances went through a long talk with you there, and finally she had to say, well, the people must take some of the blame. You heard that?
Yes, I heard.
It was as a result of one of your questions that she actually said that, because she was pointing out a whole bunch of neglect, and there's another word for it I don't want to use. And then you asked her a question, I don't know what it was, and her answer was, people must take some of the blame. She's wrong on that, Tim. People must take all of the blame. All of the blame. Because either they don't push their representatives to perform, either they refuse to push their government, and I talk about all sides pushing their government, to perform, or there's the other more localized thing about Beaufort in particular, that Beaufort harbors the laziest people in the country. You've heard that too.
I have, yes.
And I'm not saying that is true. I am saying that is legendary. So it's been there a long time. I don't think the people of Labrie are lazy, and I don't think the people in Choiseul are lazy either. But they have no roads, from what I'm gathering. They have no a lot of amenities from what I'm gathering when I say that, because I no longer go around everywhere. There's no real economic activity going on to speak of, Tim. And what little there is coming out of the pocket of taxpayers with no returns, Tim.
But this lamentation we've been hearing for a while, particularly on this program, people are saying, and you could hear the pain in their voice, the frustration that nothing is happening in the South. You just have people just lingering, people just existing, but there's nothing to look to. And maybe that is what that's giving people, others the impression, outsiders the impression, that there are individuals in certain parts of St. Lucia that are lazy. If you're given the opportunity, that certainly can buoy you, that can excite you, could give you a jump start. I don't think people are lazy.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll tell you what the aspect of the laziness I agree with. Doing nothing about it. Kenny Anthony has been elected how many times those 25 years?
You keep saying 25, 27.
Eh?
You keep saying 25, but it's 27.
Okay.
And I think maybe Rick, the people are not doing anything primarily because they have a new strategy. And maybe the new strategy is to vote the governments out of office during every general election.
Are you telling me that's a newfound strategy?
Maybe.
Or that's a strategy?
Because Rick, it happened in 2011. It also happened in 2016. And it happened in 2021. Now, what is going to happen again? I don't know if that's a strategy that is effective.
The changing of government faces, per se, has never done anything decent for the country, the mere changing of faces. What has to happen, and I've said it before, I'm consistent in this, when you have elected a government in which you've reposed some trust and faith, and they perform, and you pat them on the back, even when they spit in your face and tell you there are roads, but the roads are wonderful, even though your vehicles. I heard a guy on TV who is a major booster of the government, even nasty language, and the man was talking about how his rims are all screwed up from the bad roads. Of course, he was complaining about something else.
Yeah.
But that came out, his BMW rims are all effed up because of the bad roads, and he's a major booster of the government in the nastiest language you can think of. So if he can say that, you know how bad it is. So it's not enough simply to put Alan Chastney back. Alan Chastney, I'm only using his name because he's the opposition. Alan Chastney must go back into office knowing that if he does not start performing, you heard Trump? Trump is talking about what's going to happen in the first day, the second day, and the third day. And he knows people are holding him up to it,
In St. Lucia, we talk about 100 days, the first 100 days.
What's that?
In St. Lucia, we talk about the first 100 days, as opposed to from day one.
I was about to say that. Mm-hmm. And those 100 days never arrived. So I want to make it very, very clear that the people we have been choosing for office, reputationally, I said so last week, reputationally do not belong in Parliament. Because the people we put in Parliament are supposed to be exemplary, not like Rick Wayne. Rick Wayne is the devil. We know that already, so don't waste your time. Hey, Rick, you do that. You drank coffee this morning. What Rick does is his goddamn business and not a business of anybody, because Rick Wayne is not accountable to anybody but himself. But our ministers of government undertake to be accountable to us for our tax money. Whatever money comes into the coffers of government are the people's money. And so when we are worried, and I had a court case on that, I don't want to revive it. I pointed out at a certain minister who looked quite ordinary, a certain gentleman who looked quite ordinary for years to everybody. Some might even think he was poor. And I wrote about how suddenly rich he appeared. And a particular judge said I should have gone and checked out the man's papers and what kind of crap. The case ended well, but we have the Integrity Act, we have the Integrity Commission, we're supposed to have an Integrity Office. Those things are supposed to be published. The people are supposed to know how much politicians come into office with. And we know very well most of them the leader of the opposition, whoever he might be, basically has to make deals with them, pay their mortgage, agree to send their children to school. That is how you get candidates on both parties, you know, Tim.
Yeah.
You have to buy them. So that when you buy them, you got to find ways to pay them. And if you don't, you'll have to close your eyes when they pay themselves. These are the horrid facts that nobody wants to talk about in harsh detail, as I am right now. And when they, I suppose because they're afraid that if they do, all the equipment, all the state whips will return on their backs. Well, we have to stand by those people who speak out and the government or the opposition get on their backs. We have to look out for our brothers in the same cause. Those of us, and there are very few of us, who speak out boldly on the condition of that afflicts us. It's a condition. It's a malady. And the malady is sicko, crooked politicians, crooked people who become crooked politicians. And we have to be very, very careful about them reputationally. Don't say the man ain't convict. If the guy has a lousy reputation for beating women, stealing, abusing people, you have to ask him public questions about that. And the law protects us doing that, you know. The law leaves us a lot of room. The sad thing is that to go and stand for your rights will going to cost you an arm and a leg, whereas it will cost the government minister nothing and cost the taxpayers. You see how the anomaly, you see the stupidity, the way we're still living like primitive people. Thank you very much, Tim.
Thank you so much. We have a voice note. Somebody sent me a voice note moments ago reacting to the comments that were made earlier by the MP for VA4 South, Dr. Kenny Anthony.
Tim, I'm afraid, Reza. You will tell me Kenny had the guts and the heart to see what he said there? Where he was in minister office, he was there, he been prime minister many times already, and he never gave up view forth. Now he have a heart to talk about that. I'm ashamed, my kid, Tim. I'm ashamed about that with him. Man don't have a heart, Gaza. You was there so long. You're making people believe that his other things, his other ministers are doing these things. He was the prime minister. He could build up and Viewfort South. He could build up Viewfort. He could make Viewfort airport, proper harbor, all them things there. Hotels, everything. He should build up down there. He talking now. You're ashamed about that, Tim? No, man, Tim. No, man. The year ending already. That's what happened for the New Year, Tim. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I will see you for the New Year. Okay, Tim? Blessings to you and take care. NewsSpin.
Thank you so much for that voice note. We have a photograph to share with you. Vehicle ditched somewhere on the chaussee. And the caption is, Chaussee Road eats a car. Chaussee Road eats a car. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Still to come, some more of your calls and your WhatsApp messages, including conflicting statements from the Prime Minister and the head of the St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority regarding the decision to terminate the contract with OECC. Back in a bit.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Viewfort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, 285-3329, or 285-8640. Or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Christmas in this year.
Can I have this? We have an extra $400 from Flow. You can have everything you
More
want.
gifts with Flow. With Christmas in, win weekly prices up to $10,000 in cash. Sign up for a postpaid bundle or a broadband plan. We Christmas in with free groceries from Flow. Plus a chance to win weekly prizes and up to $10,000 cash. Head over to your nearest Flow store or visit discoverflow.co. Flow, we Christmasing. More gifts with Flow.
This Christmas, there's a warmth that goes beyond the twinkling lights. It's the warmth of family, of sharing a meal that brings everyone closer. KFC's Festive Feast isn't just a meal, it's a moment where every bite brings a smile and every piece brings you home. So get the family a festive bucket or the festive box. KFC's Festive Feast, bringing families together, one delicious meal at a time.
Crunch the holidays however you want. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Get ready for MNC, Home Depot, and Sunbelt's wonderful weekends on December 6th, 7th, and 8th. And again on December 12th, 14th, and 15th. We're bringing you 20% off store-wide. Plus amazing doorbuster deals. Need tools, paint, or housewares for the holidays? We've got it all at amazing prices. But that's not all. Save up to 50% off on our doorbuster deals. These prices won't last long, so get in early for the best savings. Don't miss out. Mark your calendar for wonderful weekends at MNC Home Depot and Sunbelt in December and save 20% off store-wide this holiday season. Terms and conditions may apply. See in-store for more details.
Ever walked into an ice cream shop and felt overwhelmed by the flavors? Mom's eyeing vanilla, Dad's set on rum and raisin, and the kids going on about cherry chocolate and pistachio? Well, this Christmas, there's one thing everyone can agree on. Still, whether you're already a proud owner or expecting one under the tree, Still is the gift that keeps on giving. Powerful, reliable, and backed by amazing after-sales service. From lawnmowers to brush cutters and blowers, Still makes your yard merry and bright all year long. Head over to Europa in Massad Grosile or call 452-0763 and give the gift of Still this holiday season. Remember, we service what we sell.
Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas.
Are you so caught up with your busy schedule that you forget about your health? Let La Clinique du Corps take care of it so you can continue living a healthy life. There's no need to travel anymore to get the best quality full-body MRI scans with crystal clear head-to-toe images. Our GE-certified MRI machine detects any illness in your body with unmatched precision. For even better care, La Clinique du Corps offers the most advanced 3D and 4D ultrasound technology, ensuring precise diagnostics for accurate results. We also provide general health checkups for all ages, diagnostic testing including blood work, preventative care and chronic disease management, consultations with specialists in cardiology, neurosurgery, neurology, oncology, and more. Plus, enjoy the convenience of telemedicine consultations for your busy schedule. Why wait? Discover the invisible. Call La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center in Rodney Bay or Castries at 451-6559 to schedule your appointment today. Your health deserves the best because time is life.
To have a strong structure, you must have a strong foundation. And at Caribbean Pastors Limited, we offer top quality aggregate materials at great prices. We supply high quality ready mix, cast in sand and plaster in sand. We also take special requests for specific materials that you may require for your building projects. Caribbean Pastors Limited is located in Bexon behind Essential Hardware. Give us a call at 489-0074. We're open from Monday to Saturday 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sundays 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Caribbean Pastors Limited. Quality construction, our priority.
Light up the holiday season. Excel gives you every reason. There's a special loan wrapped up just for you to make your every Christmas dream come true.
Light up your Christmas and lighten your financial burden this season with a holiday loan from Axel Finance. Plus, every loan gets you a chance to win your favorite kitchen appliance and grocery vouchers.
Light up the holiday season. Excel gives you every reason. There's a special loan wrapped up just for you to make your every Christmas dream come true.
Come in today and get your Axel Finance holiday loan.
Thanks so much for staying with the world's most monitored talk show, NewsSpin. We have a WhatsApp message. Tim, what is the Prime Minister giving to public servants this Christmas? Public servants are suffering. There is a perception that we don't feel the pain of the economy, but we do because government has stripped away mostly all the protection public servants once enjoyed, including promoting hard-working officers. 90% of public servants stagnate until retirement because the public service ministry is there only for their friends and themselves. They weaponize not having a degree against promoting officers even when recommended by the heads of department. They disregard permanent secretaries' request for promotions, and it is pure discrimination in the Ministry of the Public Service. I think Minister Albert Poleon has blended in and lost her way in the ministry, which is in the worst state ever. It is just a power ride for them, but God will deal with them because one day they will not be in those powerful positions anymore. A WhatsApp message. So last week you heard from the General Manager of the St. Lucia Air and Seaports Authority, Mr. Darren Snack, regarding the termination of the contract with OECC. And it was involved in the construction of the air traffic control tower under the HIA redevelopment project. And then, according to Mr. Snack, SLASPA had to terminate the contract because of multiple breaches. All right, that's the reason given. The SLASPA cites multiple breaches of contract as the reason for the termination. So let's listen to Mr. Darren Snack when he made that statement last week.
During the ongoing construction of our new, what we call our ACTC, Air Traffic Control Tower, the main contractor, OECC, breached multiple performance, health, and safety requirements. Despite efforts to address these issues, OECC failed to comply, and therefore this prompted SLASPA to terminate the contract with the contractor on November 30th, 2024. During the ongoing construction of our new, what we call our ACTC, Air Traffic Control Tower, the main contractor, OECC, breached multiple performance, health, and safety requirements. Despite efforts to address these issues, OECC failed to comply, and therefore this prompted SLASPA to terminate the contract with the contractor on November 30th, 2024.
And now listen to our Prime Minister, Minister with responsibility for finance on the same issue. That's Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre regarding the termination of the SLASPA OECC contract.
So what's happening now is SLASPA and the firm, the OECC, amicably decided that they would part ways. So that arrangement meant that OECC would have moved on and allowed SLASPA to continue. That took some time, so then SLASPA took the legal way of termination of the arrangement with OECC, so that not because there's any need for bad blood, for conflict, but to allow the project to continue. And that's the question, to allow it to continue to continue. So what will happen is SLASPA will engage other contractors through tender to complete the control tower. So what's happening now is SLASPA and the firm, the OECC, amicably decided that they would part ways. So that arrangement meant that OECC would have moved on and allowed SLASPA to continue. That took some time, so then SLASPA took the legal way of termination of the arrangement with OECC, so that not because there's any need for bad blood, for conflict, but to allow the project to continue. And that's the question, to allow it to continue to continue. So what will happen is SLASPA will engage other contractors through tender to complete the control tower.
Prime Minister Philip J. Don't ask me to analyze this for you, because I won't. Analyze it for yourself. The two statements, the one that was made by the General Manager of SLASPA, Darren Snack, and you just heard the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Philip J. You're on your own on this one. What's happening in the chat room, Amanda?
Tim, a few comments. Someone says, we do not eat roads, now roads eating cars. Mwem. Another comment, well, it's the public servants that have this government there. Someone says, what Kenny meant is that we are still waiting for the water in the kettle to get hot while the coffee sits in the percolator. Someone says, I am from Library, I live there, and it's sad the state of affairs. The community is dull and indeed grossly neglected. Another comment, while Kenny ran the country broke, he put aside $100 million towards the CCJ. Another contribution, someone says, APA for Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister and Speaker of the House. Someone says, how can a country have any progress changing a government every 5 years? Another comment, Kenny Anthony was the Prime Minister who put all of St. Lucian's eggs in the tourism basket. He didn't see it was necessary to develop agriculture and to seek markets for our farmers. Hence the reason why our farmers are running dry and St. Lucia is running down. These politicians didn't see it was necessary to follow the footsteps of our dear deceased Sir John Compton. Another comment, someone says, my thing is politicians on both sides surround themselves with only yes men. Someone says, is there a relationship between the 2.5% and the boom in the graveyard condo developments? Hot real estate in afterlife across the island. Someone replied to this saying, that's the only place with lots of growth. That's why they're saying the economy is booming. Let's see if there are any more comments. Someone says, no conflict, but SLASPA took legal way of termination, PJP. Someone says, young man, if you can come out there and lie to the nation for political gain, believe me, you will pay for it soon. Another comment, job for the boys and money must be drawn down on some people's pockets. That's the question.
All right, I have a WhatsApp message. It reads there, good day, Tim. Lies and more lies. Wow. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Listen to this speech. Tim, I'm getting more convinced that Dr. Anthony, MP for V4 South, as V4 in its present state by design. He always knew what was necessary for V4. He did nothing as a 3-term prime minister. The guy is an educator and came to V4 as the brilliant man. Remember the phrase, give V4 a prime minister? Another WhatsApp message. Somebody says that if there was a health and safety issue with SLASPA, why didn't Pierre mention it in his statement? Another comment. Dear Stevenson King, please do not dismiss my criticism of your performance. Simply stating that you are doing a good job is insufficient. At the very least, provide examples of improvements you've made, outline your plans, and identify areas where further improvement is needed. I am deeply dissatisfied with the comment you made. While you may have people in your circle praising your work, there are others like myself who do not share that view. Furthermore, clear evidence indicates that our infrastructure is inadequate and that many people are highly dissatisfied. I will appreciate if you at least acknowledge my criticism. This comment and performance is unacceptable. King. P.S. Help me think differently. Your critics are not the opposition. Let's see there. Another WhatsApp message. I heard Mr. King say that they were fixing the cantonment road. Yes, it is being done by Reno, but rumors is that area is saying it's at the request of the local rep, Mr. Alva in exchange. Okay, can go through this one. Let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. They empower buying suits, clothes, well dry cleaned, give them 2 more years and see how their suits turn to massy bags in the cupboard. They are just in it for the power, fame, pension, and bauble. More WhatsApp messages to go through. Somebody says there, we the people saying they're waiting for payment from July 2023. One will believe they will get, okay, all right. Don't want to go through this one in its entirety. Let's see if we have some more WhatsApp messages. Tim, the briefcase is back. They were in V4 this past Saturday, upstairs the police station. All right, any more information to share with you? Okay, regarding the nation's crime problem, you pose a question to the nation's national security minister, and automatically he makes reference to the opposition. So here's his latest take on the crime problem in this country, and in particular, the homicide which occurred last Sunday.
The situation involving crime is not comfortable. It's not something that pleases me. And it surprises me how opposition elements can almost gleefully proclaim as if they have a victory when these crimes are committed. You must recall, the United Workers' Party were in power for 10 years. And we seem to have forgotten that. We seem to pretend as if the United Workers' Party is a new kid in town and some of the players are new players. The same players were there between 2011 and 2016. And some of the same players were there between 2006 and 2011. But you see, we especially for the younger people, we seem to want them to forget that these same players were there. These are not new players. These are the same players. They were involved. So the problems that existed in this country, they were part of it.
Prime Minister and Minister with responsibility for national security, Mr. Philip J. Pierre. Let's see if we can squeeze in a few more calls. Let's take a call on the landline. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello. Good afternoon.
Yes, but I've been trying. I've been about to about 40 times.
Caller, just go ahead with your contribution. You're lucky. Just go ahead with your contribution, sir.
Yes. I just want to comment on some examples of what I heard earlier on, like Mary Francis. That is the best speech I've ever heard given by Mary Francis. Okay? Now, talking about the South, and I'm sure you must have heard me talking about the South for a very long time. Mm-hmm. Until you said that it has been falling on deaf ears. And finally, you hear who is talking about the South now. And what is really pissing me off, that there are persons that benefited during the heydays, right, of the South. And they refuse to call to make a contribution. I have a problem with that, those people, And talking about Kenyan Tony, again, it's really surprising. It is not even much Kenyan Tony has to do for Beaufort, right, to open up Beaufort. It's all what he has to do, right? And I've said it a million times that the road in the south, in the Bakade, right, the west side, right, which is the Bakade, you could open the road, right? If you open the road and you free up the land for business persons, right, that is a good way of opening up Beaufort, developing Beaufort, by constructing a road, right, from the Bakade going west, okay? And you could build a bus stand. You could build all the transport that travels west. Labis, Social, Laris, Ocean, these areas. You could install the bus terminal there by the Bakade in the west. That could bring a lot of development from Beaufort. And then you could also, coming back in the north and the east, by the library side there, after you exited the concrete there by the fire station, you could cut through there, right? The road, you could construct a road right opposite the CIBC bank, close to the airport fence, right, like a bypass. So all vehicles are coming to Beaufort. Or if you're going to Labrie Street, you won't have to go through Beaufort. You could go through that bypass, a nice bypass there. Okay, That's all Kenny had to do, to open up Beaufort, and Beaufort would have opened up. And I've spoken about that so many times. He doesn't have to do anything much, but hear him today. Hear him today. And that's all I have to say for now.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for sharing your point of view with us. Let me see if I have any more WhatsApp messages to go through. Okay, let's take a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Good afternoon.
Hey, Timothy.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes, I must applaud the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister for his speech. However, I must say, the same persons he speaks about is the same persons in his government currently. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
So, what does that say about the Prime Minister himself?
you have Mr. Alva Baptiste, who has been the MP for V4 for Labrie for a while now. Moussa Baptiste, he has been the MP for V4 North for a while now.
Correct.
Philip J. Pierre has been the MP for a while now. You have Sean Edward, Denry North MP for a while.
Yeah.
And you have Stevenson King, Stevenson King, MP for a while.
There you go.
And
so
exactly.
Make it make sense. So what does it say about our Prime Minister? Anyways, Tim, have a lovely day.
All right, you too. Thank you so much for calling. All right, let me turn my attention now to the question of the day. Well, just asking people their thoughts on Minister Stevenson King claiming that he's doing a good job. And finally, we have our NewsSpin news of the day. Our NewsSpin news of the day reads, 2024 certain to be hottest year on record and first above critical 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold. 2024 certain to be hottest year on record and first above critical 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold. That's the broadcast. Now I have some bad news for you. The good news, we go on until Thursday. The bad news, unfortunately, we'll not be having a live NewsSpin program tomorrow because I have to attend to something. I had a death in my family and I have to attend a funeral, among other things, tomorrow. So we'll not be having a live NewsSpin broadcast tomorrow. We'll have a rebroadcast, and that will be aired on this radio station, Power 97.9 FM. And God willing, I'll be back in the flesh on Thursday at 12:30 p.m. with another edition of NewsSpin. If I could get some extra time from management, we might just go up until 2:30 on Thursday to make up for my absence tomorrow. So enjoy your Tuesday. Enjoy your Wednesday tomorrow. We have a rerun, 12:30, right here on Power 97.9 FM. And I'll be back on Thursday at 12:30. Goodbye.